Tourism Pathshala. It will transform your dream into reality. Good morning, my dear student. Today we are going to learn and going to discuss the very important question of TH2 Tourism Development Product Operation and Case Study. The important questions are based on block 1. This question is based on block 1. The question is the guest host relationship, not block 2. This question is based on the guest host relationship. What do you mean by guest host relationship? What are the significance of guest host relationship? And what are the relevance of guest host relationship in our tourism study? This question is based on a few dimension and concept. These are number one, concept of guest host relationship. Number 2, you have to study the importance of guest host relationship. What are the basic factors of guest host relationship and different situation of this relation? There may be economic situation, socio-cultural situation, and different situation create different impact. And next, different types of tourists create different types of impact. And finally, we have to understand the relevance of guest host relations. These are the perspective of the guest host relationship. This question is based on block 1 of TH2 and unit 3. Now now we're going to learn the detailed discussion about guest host relationship and their entire significance. Our question based on guest host interaction. Why is it important to profile the host and explaining the significance of studying guest host relationship? So this topic is based on 5 to 6 dimensions. Number 1, we have to write about the concept of guest host interaction. Second, we have to mention the important factor of guest host interaction. Third, we have to write the type of guest host interaction based on tourism type. According to expert V. Valen Smith divided the different types of guest host, different types of tourism and related guest host interaction. Next, differentiation and tension between guest host interaction. And finally, relevance of guest host interaction. So these are our important perspective of this question. So step by step we have to learn. Number one, we have to write the guest host concept and importance of guest host relationship. Here I highlight the important point from the text, and also I mention the important keyword. The guest host, at first we have to see the important keyword. Guest host relationship, as the various issues are involved. Types of reception of tourist get in the destination. What types of reception to get? Number 2, host feeling. Number 3, regarding the tourist expectation of local customs and feeling. Now, the guest host relationship has a number of issues have been involved. These issues of type of recreation, type of reception of tourists get in destination, host feeling, and regarding the tourist expectation of local customs and feeling. They have wider implication on the development and tourism and are to be taken seriously by tourism planner and professional. Generally, host feeling and requirement are not consideration in tourism service or resort development. In some cases, they are just secondary consideration. This is very alarming, and we have to every tourism professional, tourism industry and planner to give the importance to the guest host feelings. Studies in the nature of tourist motivation, perception, attitude of the local and host are important in determining and resolving the conflict between host and guest, companies and employees, and land use planner and developer. Now, this is the first part. We have studied the concept and importance. Now we are going to going to learn the basic factor of guest-host relationship. So, before that, we have to understand what concept of tourist and tourism. The tourist is a temporary visitor who is away from his or her normal place of residence and work for a change. During this temporary stay, the tourist does not have to work. And tourist involvement. Beyond this definition, one has to also recognize the fact that tourists involve an interaction with the people at destination. These are two types of interaction can happen. Number one, short-term interaction in the case of journey, airport, customs, immigration. Second part is the long-term interaction. This interaction is based on the destination. This is very, very important area where guest-host relationship, positive, negative, tension, different aspect has been developed. And so there are three elements of tourism foundation. Number one, leisure time. Number two, discretionary income. Number three, local approval. These elements play a role in determining the nature of guest-host relationship. So we have to mention this important foundation, the important element of tourism foundation. Leisure time is related to work time. In the West, the availability of leisure time is on increase. Leisure time, very interesting. Leisure time is related to work time. The work time is in the West, availability of leisure time is on increase because incentive travel, paid leave encourage people to seek tourism as an attractive option. Next, discretionary income is directly related to the cost of living. Discretionary income, the surplus income, which is related to the cost of living, work ethics, and saving for the future. Attainment of instant pleasure is linked to work goal, money earned is also to be spent. And local sanction determine the vacation practice and style. For example, it may be the fashion to make trip for some destination. Next, we're going to understand the guest-host interaction according to different types of tourism. The different types of tourism give rise to different form of interaction between host and guest. And it briefly discusses the interaction in 5 types of tourism described by Valen L. Smith in his introduction to the book Host and Guest. According to socio-anthropologist Valen L. Smith, different types of tourism are ethnic tourism, cultural tourism, historical tourism, environmental tourism, and recreational tourism. And what we're going to learn, the interaction between different types of tourism, activity, and impact. The ethnic tourism means that also related to the cultural tourism, focus customs and exotic people, tribal community, their ritual and ceremony, and initiate between the contact, make intimate contact between host and guest. So these are the ethnic tourism. Tourism can become the agent of change. Local people are influenced. Suppose the exotic people like Eskimos, American Indian, tribal community, their ritual ceremonies, performing art, home life, private and public sphere of this activity. Every aspect of local life and tradition can be transformed by the tourist gaze. As an example, the monastery festival in Ladakh are no longer held in the winter, the off-season of tourism, because the commercialization they are now held in summer. Because of commercialization, they are now held in summer when the tourists come. The very interesting, monastery festival in Ladakh are no longer held in winter, but due to the tourism activity, Due to the tourism activity, the commercialization, they are now held in the summer when the tourists come. So this is a cultural change. Cultural change, demand of economic demand, interaction with the tourist that create the impact on the host community. Cultural tourism means activity like destination include the male in heritage in hotel, folk festival, fair festival, handicrafts, camel and elephant ride, and peasant culture and medieval practice. These all are the important area of the cultural tourism, and here the host guest impact are heightened. They create huge host guest impact. Next, historical tourism. Historical tourism and the nature of guest interaction. Palaces, fort, temple, museum, trail that privilege the past are favored the destination for guided tour and tour itinerary to create the lifestyle and key event in the period. Such destinations are generally well-developed cities and townships where the institutionalized tourism industry operates with special facility for all grade of tourists. In such situation, host guest contact are business like and interpersonal. And due to this kinds of tourism activity, inflation means increasing the cost of living result from tourist consumption effect item of daily uses, rent, transport, article of common consumption are increasing due to increase of number of tourists. The local people, the economically negative impact will created on local people. Local people suffer economically more or less for due to the high cost of living. And environmental tourist interaction between guest and host therefore variable and need local and independent assessment. Environmental tourist means that this goes hand to hand with the ethnic tourism. The tourist elite are attracted to remote area and align scenery like how high mountain, tropical forest. Such tourism use geographical uniqueness as a resources and exploit the man-run relationship. And finally, recreation and tourism. This include the palm-fronted beaches, snow-covered ski slopes, snow-covered ski slopes, large green golf courses, natural habitat where wildlife is viewed in the communion with the nature and is unspoiled best. And for the host-guest relationship, hostess relationship create the huge impact on this area. The dynamic impact on the impact of tourism on local community. This impact of price rise and land use. Price rise and land use. Number two, radical economic reorientation. Number three, crime, prostitution, drug, tourism related violence, seasonal labor influx, and servant master relationship. This is a very dangerous servant master's relationship between the host and guest. Seasonal labor influx. This is very important. Another point says in season the labor crisis can be happen. In a season means a tourist season, and servant master relationship between the host and guest. This is a very negative and dangerous impact of guest host relationship in tourism. And different situation. Now we are going to study and going to write under this answer the different situation of guest host interaction. Different situation guest host interaction, there can be the certain situation that emerge at various stages lead to the another situation. From host point of view, it could be either welcome with all smile, be cool or aloof, extort money or cheat, be very friendly. And often one situation can lead to the another or vice versa. Smiles, coolness, extortion, hostility to friendship. In fact, all this situation depends on the variety of factors depending the nature of tourism, interaction, tourist impact, resort development, tourist profile and host profile. These are the important keyword already they have mentioned. The aspect to be seen here, the accommodation and location or coexistence between visitors, segregation of social distance, separation between visitors and visiting the special tourist area, opposition or rejection of visitor by the visitors, the smile visited, and uh, similar discourtesy by the visitors towards the visited. The different aspect has been happening. And on the international scale, complex relationship between tourists and local people result in increasing artificial tourism construct as well as tension due to carrying capacity. Carrying capacity relate the number of tourists in relation to the size of the population. Huge number of tourists when come, the environmental disturb can be happen. Objectifying the culture, objectifying the physical object, people, culture, whether landscape, townscape, ethnic group, lifestyle, historical artifact, recreational resources, and natural resources. Third, spatial space occupation problems, spatial and temporally packing of the tourist gaze, whether in demand excursion. The organization of mass services tied to satisfy the tourist gaze is another kinds of problem. Next, excessive demand. The demand of the particular type and standard of service demand have become the more and more exclusive with the inclusive tour segment. These include restaurant, bars, souvenirs shop, travel and transport agencies, hotel and airport. And finally, commercial transformation of culture, transformation of the natural aura of the destination into a creatures by overweighing, being turned into the image of itself. The host attitude towards tourists is governed by direct expenses, image and perception, and stereotype. The guest-host interaction create the economic benefit, social and cultural exchange. Economic benefit whether tourism is integrated with the domestic economy and major consideration of the relation of guest-host interaction, composition of tourist, tourism services, nature of resort development. Next, socio-cultural exchange. Socio-cultural exchange means the impact of cultural change in guest relationship will depend largely the importance and extent to which tourists want to remain within the tourist bubble. Tourist bubble is related to the environmental bubble. Bubble means the tourist surrounded by his or her similar living environment while he is going to abroad. The extent to which local youth can earn easy money. This is a socio-cultural impact. And third is the important impact, the tolerance level of local people to unsensitive tourist behavior in body, language, dress, tone of voice. For example, like nudism, recreational clothes, semi-undressed women, smoking, necking means to kiss an old person in sexual way, public places which are unacceptable to traditional society. And role of media. Media also create the influence in this sector. National strategy, emergence of national stereotype which transform guest and host into object for each other. Problem of unequal power. Alternative to mainstream tourism had not been able to solve problem of unequal power and create cultural consequences due to movement. So these kinds of socio-cultural, economic and socio-cultural situation can be happen due to due to tourism and guest host interaction. And finally, there are different types of role of number of tourist type. Different types of tourists I have mentioned here: explorer type tourist, and different types of tourist and their activity. Elite tourist, offbeat and hippie type tourist, incipient mass tourist. There are different types of tourist has developed the different types of guest host relationship. And finally, the important thing and the conclusion part is the relevance of guest host relationship. Guest host relationship is a very sensitive area and need to be researched before the policy can be evolved. In most cases, trial and error method prevail with hit and miss stories of the consequences of tourist about. There are two aspects of this relationship. These are the host expectation left side and right side the guest expectation. Host want income, employment, consumer goods, social interaction, respect and dignity of their culture, private and public practice, living within a community, and tourism consciousness. The guest expectation, they can be strangers and other, resources and attraction, transport and infrastructure, safety, security, curiosity and novelty, value for their money, what they investing for to visiting particular tourist destination, and cultural interaction. They want to learn the different culture. So these are the expectation. So we can conclude that the guest-host relationship vary as per location, impact, type of tourism, and tourist. Host perception, experience, and images. Generally, host feelings are ignored in tourism promotion and development. However, such ignoring can have drastic impact on a destination. Unless tourism is founded and practiced on the healthy and friendly guest-host relationship, the very purpose of tourism stand defeated. So we have to keep our mind that without proper planning, development of and respectation of guest-host relationship, tourism destination cannot possible to survive. So my dear student, through this discussion, we can understand very clearly the important aspect and perspective of guest-host relationship. So these are our important question of the guest-host relationship and the different dimension and perspective and significance of guest-host relationship. So keep touch your exam. In December, you have to prepare this question for your December or June exam. So, if you have any queries regarding this tourism and travel management, you send your comment and keep touch with this channel, and you have to share your opinion. Then I will guide you time to time. So, thank you.